Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Spruce Sports Central. Today, I'm going to be filling out my second chance March Madness bracket. So, diving right in and beginning things in the Sweet 16 with UConn and San Diego State. This is actually a rematch of the national championship game last season, and I'm expecting a similar result. UConn has looked great in their two tournament games so far, destroying Stetson and Northwestern. They've also won 8 tournament games in a row, and during that stretch, their margin of victory is 22 points. UConn's just way too good here. They're going to move on and defeat San Diego State. Moving on, we have Illinois against Iowa State. This is a really interesting matchup because we have an elite Illinois offense against an elite Iowa State defense. The Illinois offense is ranked number 1 in the country in terms of adjusted offensive efficiency, and they score 84.6 points a game and shoot the ball very well. And for Iowa State, they have the number 1 defensive rating in terms of adjusted defensive rating, and they're ranked 4th in scoring defense and 12th in opponent field goal percentage. So this is going to be a really good matchup. This is a game that could go either way. Originally, I predicted Illinois to make the Elite Eight against UConn. I'm going to stick with that. I think Terrence Shannon Jr. is the difference maker, and they're able to overcome that elite Iowa State defense. Moving on to North Carolina and Alabama. This is another one that is going to be really good. Both teams score a lot of points. Alabama is the highest scoring team in the country, scoring 90.7 points per game, and they're ranked 4th in the fourth in terms of offensive rating. Then for North Carolina, they're 20th in points per game and 17th in offensive rating. Now, the difference in this game is the defense. Carolina's defense is ranked number 6 in defensive rating, while Alabama's all the way down at 101st. I think that difference is too much for Alabama to overcome, and North Carolina advances to the Elite Eight. Clemson against Arizona. So I'm really surprised Clemson even won a game, let alone 2. And beating Baylor, who's a really good team, surprised me as well. I don't really think Clemson's just that good. I mean, they made it to the final 16 teams remaining, so they've got to be pretty good. But I think they're one of the 2 worst tournament teams remaining. They could get the upset win, but I don't see it happening. Arizona's too good, too well-rounded, and they will move on. Back up to the top right of the bracket, we have Houston and Duke. So Duke has played 2 completely different games so far in the tournament. They played Vermont and didn't look great, barely winning, and then they destroyed James Madison. So which Duke team is going to show up in the Sweet 16 for their matchup against Houston? It's hard to tell. But Houston, they have the second best defense in the country, and they will have to stop a 5th-ranked Duke offense. So this is going to be another interesting matchup, fun battle between 2 teams that are both very good. Originally, I picked Duke. In this game, I'm going to stick with that, and Duke advances. Next matchup, we have NC State against Marquette. NC State has been really surprising so far. They made the Sweet 16 after an insane run in the ACC tournament. They beat Texas Tech and Oakland. And while I would love to see their run continue, I just think Marquette is the more talented team. And as long as they can slow down the Wolfpack duo of DJ Horn and DJ Burns, they will definitely have the scoring to win, and Marquette will advance. But I would love to see NC State's run continue. Purdue and Gonzaga, next game. Purdue's been great with 2 blowout wins over Grambling and Utah State, and then have faced a Gonzaga team that has also destroyed both their opponents in McNeese and Kansas. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Both these teams ranked top 10 in offensive efficiency, with Purdue ranked 3rd, Gonzaga ranked 7th. And I think this can be a high-scoring game, but similar to North Carolina and Alabama, I'm going to take the 1 seed because of their defense. As Purdue is ranked 15th in defensive rating, while Gonzaga down at 42nd. Not quite the difference in the Alabama-North Carolina game, but I still think it is a big enough difference. Zach Edey is also just insane for Purdue. They've got a lot of talent around him, and they're not super reliant on him, and I think they'll move on. Next game, we have Creighton against Tennessee. So this is the hardest game of the Sweet 16 for me to predict. Both these teams are really good. Originally, I had this game predict Tennessee to win and had them in the national championship game. Now, I'm not so sure, especially after they had a terrible shooting game against Texas in the second round. For Creighton, they've been really good. I've gone back and forth on this game. I could stick with my original pick of Tennessee, but my gut says Creighton will win this game. This is going to be a really good game. Tennessee is 29th in offensive rating, 3rd in defense, while Creighton 11th on offense, 23rd on defense. I'm going to go against my previous pick of Tennessee and go with Creighton to beat Tennessee and advance to the Elite Eight. But bold prediction about this game: whoever wins this game ends up in the national championship game. Moving to the Elite Eight, beginning with UConn and Illinois. So I have Illinois getting past the Iowa State elite defense because the Iowa State offense is good but nothing special. Whereas UConn, they're elite in both phases, offense and defense, ranked second in offensive rating, eighth in defensive rating. This is going to be another high scoring game between two top offenses, but UConn's defense is the difference, and they will advance. North Carolina and Arizona, another uh, game that I had in my original bracket. It's hard for me to pick. Both these teams are really, really good. It's a coin flip for me. I originally picked Arizona. I'm going to stick with that, and they will advance to play UConn. And next matchup, Duke and Marquette. This is another really tough game. Marquette would be making their first Elite Eight appearance since 2013. And for Duke, I think they're the better team here. They're better offensive, and I just think they're better overall. And I'm going to stick with my original pick of Duke to the Final Four. Purdue and Creighton. So a minute ago, I said the winner of Creighton and Tennessee would make the national championship game. So obviously that means I have to pick Creighton to win this game, which I will do. But I'm going to do that for two reasons. One is I think Creighton is one of the few teams who has the ability to stop Zach Edey, as their center Ryan Kalkbrenner is a 7'1" giant who has a massive impact on the defensive end, averaging over 3 blocks per game. And the second reason that Creighton can beat Purdue, while Purdue has the scoring outside of Zach Edey, Creighton has 3 players who can score really well and all average over 17 points a game. And so for those two reasons, I have Creighton defeating Purdue and moving on to the Final Four. So Final Four consisting of UConn and Arizona, and then Duke against Creighton. Beginning with UConn and Arizona, this is the matchup I originally had. Both these teams incredibly well balanced, really, really good. I picked UConn before. I'm not going to pick against them now in the Final Four, and they advance. Then Duke and Creighton is really interesting. Both these teams are really good. Duke is actually the better team in terms of offensive and defensive rating, and it could definitely go either way. But I really like this Creighton team. They do a lot of things well. They score, they defend, and I'm going to take a Big East matchup of UConn and Creighton in the national championship game. Although I don't love the idea of going against my original national championship game pick of UConn and Tennessee, but I think Creighton slightly beats Tennessee. Then in the national championship game, we have UConn and Creighton. So obviously these are two Big East teams, as I said a second ago. The really interesting thing about this matchup is Creighton is one of the 3 teams to defeat UConn in the season, and they also did so in convincing fashion, winning 85-66, while UConn won the other matchup. Now, these are two really good teams. I picked UConn to originally win the championship. I'm not going to pick against them now. And I have UConn winning the national championship for the second straight season. I think they're definitely the best team in the country. It is really hard to find a weakness with this team, and UConn goes back to back. But that is my second chance bracket. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn notifications so you don't miss any other upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible. Comment in the comments who you have winning it all. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.